me come far. Like, I haven't quit on my job. I haven't quit on this career that I chose, the path of an entrepreneur. I haven't quit because of your podcast. It's because of your Morning with Nanos, because you inspire me to continue to fight on. I see my vision. I can touch it. I can taste it, and I want it. And that is all because of you. And I would just like to thank you for that. And I just want to also, I pray total blessings over you, over your family, over your team, over Jasmine, Sana, everyone that has to do with the podcast, everybody that has to do with Morning with Nano. I send nothing but blessings and love and positive energy to you guys. Thank you for everything that you guys do. Without you guys, I don't know where I would be, but God put me here for a reason, and God put you there for a reason. So I praise him, I acknowledge him, and all the glory and the honor goes to him. So thank you again, and God bless.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Nano, and I want to be the first to welcome you guys to the Mornings with Nano podcast. I strive to help all of you unlock your full potential. I came to learn that the average individual lives their life only using 10% of their potential. So with this podcast, you will unlock 100% of that potential. All right, what's up, family? How is everyone doing? Hope everyone is having an abundant day. Today, I'm definitely having an abundant day. I feel so blessed. I feel so excited to be on this podcast episode with you guys here today, because today it's going to be a little bit different than all the other episodes, because today I have a special guest here with me. I actually have one of my best friends in life right now, who's actually become a very close friend of mine. And he's taken the time to actually do this podcast episode with me. And we're actually on our balcony right now, 50 floors up in Miami on the beach. And we're doing this just literally while smoking some hookah, relaxing, enjoying this beautiful afternoon. And, I got my brother Big Fats here with me. So Big Fats, just tell the family a little bit about you, who you are before we get this episode started. Tell them a little bit about your story and where you come from, bro.
Most definitely. First and foremost, man, Nano, I want to appreciate you just for having me on here. Just to give it back to Nano real quick, this is an individual that it's crazy. I used to watch Morning with Nano growing, not even growing up, but, when my first entrepreneur journey started, this was one of the first individuals that I was watching every single morning when I went to work. When I first started this business, and it was somebody that inspired me and motivated me each and every single day. I was on my way to work. I would listen to him, and I would just say, someday, I'm going to be, someday I'm going to be around him. Someday I'm going to be with him, so just being actually his roommate, 50 floors up in Miami. This is something different. This is something that, I've been manifesting this, and to see it all come true is really just a dream to me. But I appreciate you, like I said, and my name is Fads. I've been in the entrepreneur journey for roughly around 3.5 years now. I'm 24 years old. I've had 19 jobs. Believe it or not, I've had 19 jobs, by the age of 22. Okay, I've worked at anything that you can name of. I've worked at Taco Bell. I worked at Walmart. I've worked at, a whole bunch of different fast food restaurants. I've been a loan broker. I've been doing, kind of bit of everything. And, finally, when I jumped into the entrepreneur journey, that's when I finally felt like this journey was for me. I felt like me being an entrepreneur was the right route for me. And I'm just blessed to be around this, the individuals that I'm around right now, learning and gaining information each and every single day so I could apply it every single day.
That's beautiful, my brother. And, it's so amazing how life works, because, we went from being complete strangers to literally becoming brothers. And I still remember the first time I met you. It was in Paris. We went to that restaurant that overlooked the Eiffel Tower, and we enjoyed a nice, beautiful dinner. Who would have thought that, almost a whole year later, we would be roommates, best friends, traveling the world together, and doing all of the incredible things that we're doing. But, some questions I want to ask you, man, because, you're someone who's been able to accomplish an incredible amount of success, in this journey so far. And so many people look up to you. So many people are inspired by you. I want you to talk to people a little bit more about, what has been one of the challenging things that have come with the journey, during this time, this last year and a half that you've been here, because you've accomplished a lot of incredible things, but I know that there was a lot of things you had to overcome. Talk to people a lot about the challenges you had to go through to get to where you are right now, my brother.
No, most definitely, Mr. Torres. I do appreciate that. One thing, when I first started this journey, I believe the most important thing when not even becoming an entrepreneur, but starting your entrepreneur route is, belief, right? You got to actually believe in order for you to actually accomplish the things that you want to do. And I didn't catch that belief till maybe 6, 7, maybe 8 months into the journey of being an entrepreneur. And the reason why I caught that belief is, I used to be around individuals that didn't really see the vision of further than 6 figures, right? They didn't see vision of 7. They didn't see vision of 8. And when I finally caught the vision of, I can make 7, I can make 8, and that vision stuck with me, I realized that, I'm the only individual that can possibly see my vision. I'm the only individual that can run with my vision. I can't take somebody else's vision and run with it. I can't, nobody can take my vision and run with it. And I honestly feel like, once you get inspired and once you have that belief to take this thing to the next level, it's really all on you, right? I used to, back when I first started, I had a lot of distraction. I had friends, that we would sit around and we would play video games all day, not doing a damn thing. And one of the biggest things was we used to sit around and I used to, throw out creative ideas out there like, yo, let's go make a YouTube, or let's go do this, or let's go do that. And all those ideas would get shot down. And I would start to ask myself, is it me or is it the people around me? Right. So I realized that the environment is the biggest thing for me. The environment.
All right, guys, let's get today's call started. Welcome to Mornings with Nano. Grand Rising Familia. I hope everybody is feeling good, feeling blessed, feeling aligned. Real quick, if you've already worked on yourself this morning, you've done your morning routine, you've done what's required, put some 333s in the chat box. Let me just clean this up a little bit right here. Thank you, fam. I appreciate you. The Traveling Singer. Grateful for you. 555. Those numbers look familiar. Amazing. Well, some 333s in the chat for myself as well. Definitely took some time this morning to work on me, to make sure that I made myself a priority, right? I know that every day it's a priority to put you first, right? I've always taught people, hey, you got to be selfless before you got to be selfish before you're selfless, right? I've always taught that. You got to be selfish sometimes, and not selfish in a way with other people, selfish with yourself. Like, yo, put yourself first, right? Wake up, dedicate some time to yourself, work on yourself, do some personal development, work on the inner work. And then once you're done being selfish, then go be selfless, go pour into other people, go talk to other people, go take care of the kids, go do what you got to do. But it's very, very important for you to be selfish before you're selfless. And that's super, super valuable right there. So super excited about that. Today, we have a very powerful training as well. Looking forward to it. And I think that this is very important for all of us to learn about, because today I'm going to be teaching about one of my favorite topics that I learned at the event that I went to recently, which was the Vault. As you guys know, a couple weeks ago, I went to this event right here. It was called the Vault Conference 2025, and it was hosted by Patrick Bet-David. We had special guests like we had Tony Robbins, we had David Falk, Martha Stewart, and a couple of other great speakers. And I know that yesterday's call, I told you guys that sometimes you go to an event just to hear one thing, just for something to click for you. And at this event, there were a lot of things that hit for me. But if there was one thing that brought a lot of peace, it brought a lot of understanding, it helped me really, really just create this level of awareness inside of me that I needed, it was Tony Robbins' training. Now, there was a beautiful thing about Tony Robbins' training, and then there was the negative about Tony Robbins' training. The positive was all the value he was giving. The negative was that as he was speaking was when we got the news that Charlie Kirk was assassinated. So it made it very difficult for people to hear the message that he was giving because everybody was so caught up on the news. But I was able to get everything from the lesson because I had my phone down majority of the time, right? So I was able to derive all the value from this message, specifically the one that I'm going to be teaching about. And for those that don't know, Tony Robbins was mentored personally by Jim Rohn. Now, if you know who Jim Rohn is, put a 1 in the chat if you know who Jim Rohn is. If you don't know who Jim Rohn is, put a 2, right? If you do know, put a 1, and if you don't know, put a 2. I would hope everybody puts 1s. Oh my God, Isabel 2. I can't believe it. Adrian 2s. Okay, that's good. That's good. Man, what I would do to go back and start and learn from Jim Rohn all over again. No politics here. You don't got to worry about that. So here's the thing. So for Jim Rohn, it was Jim Rohn is the mentor of mentors. He is literally the mentor of mentors. So Jim Rohn is somebody that I highly recommend you guys to listen to. Trust me, this is going to be completely life-changing because I wish I could go back to the moment I started listening to Jim Rohn. Like, I wish I could go back to those days, right? When I first started listening to Jim Rohn, because it was just such a phenomenal mentor. Like, he was my first ever personal development mentor. He was the best, right? And, he was an older guy, but, his ability to make very complicated things simple was his best attribute, right? He could take something that was very, very difficult to understand and make it positive and make it easy to understand. So, if you haven't heard of him, please do, because he is the mentors of mentors. And knowing that he created somebody like Tony Robbins is absolutely incredible. So throughout the training, he did a seasons training. Now, Jim Rohn does a seasons training, but he does it a little bit different than Tony Robbins did, right? Tony Robbins did it a little bit different, and I want to do it Tony Robbins' way. So today's training is going to be called the seasons in a person's life, the seasons that we all go through in life. But I'm going to give it to you guys by the years, right? So based off of what age you are, I'm going to help you understand, all right, what season you're in and what you need to do in that season to prepare for the next season. Because we're all at different ages here. So real quick, if you guys don't mind, in the chat box, right, what age are you? If you guys don't mind sharing, right? I'm 31 years old. All right. So just real quick, just so that I can get a glimpse of where we're all at. All right. Let me see where everybody's at right here. Okay, so 55, 41, 35, 32, 30, 27. Okay. This is good. This is good. Okay. Got a lot of my people in the 30s, man. I got a lot of my in 30s. I see some 21s. I see some 20s as well. Okay, so this is going to be a good training. This is going to be a phenomenal training. All right. So I want you guys to just keep this in mind going into this training. I'm going to break down each season in our lives. All right. All the way till we reach 100 years old, right? Every season is going to be broken down into years. This is one of those trainings that you want to take notes on, though. You want to take notes on this, please, because I'm going to give you guys some very specific topics and specific things that you got to do and embrace every season so that you can understand how this works. Now, Tony Robbins says life is a series of seasons, and growth comes when we learn to embrace the purpose of the one we're in. Right? So I'm going to repeat that. Life is a series of seasons, and growth comes when we learn to embrace the purpose of the one we're in. The reason why this training in particular, when it was done at the event, was so powerful for me was because he helped me understand the season that I was in, and he also helped me embrace it as well. All right. So I'm going to help every single one of you guys right here understand the four major seasons of life and how to maximize each one so that you can also learn how to prepare for the next one so that you can live a life of purpose, impact, and fulfillment. All right. So let's get right into this. Let's talk about season number one. Season number one is the spring. Now, the spring is identified as the ages one, basically from birth to the age of 21, right? So season one is spring, age of 0 to 21 years old, right? This is the season of learning and foundation, right? Is anybody in their spring season on this call right now? Put a 1. That means that you are in the ages of from 0 to 21 years young. Is anyone in that season right now? Let me see. Is anyone here between the ages of 0 and 21? Anyone? Sheesh, doesn't seem like it. Well, regardless, we still want to teach on it, right? So this is the season of learning and foundation. I know the next season is going to be a good season for a lot of you guys, but for my people that have kids, right? For my individuals that have kids, this is for you as well. So think about this because this is important. Now, real quick, if you have kids, real quick, put a 1 in the chat. If you have kids in the chat, put a 1 if you have kids, right? Because this is for them. So you got to keep this in mind for them because they're in their spring season right now. So look, perfect. So look, we have a lot of people so we don't have anybody. I think we only got one person on Instagram that's 21 years young, but a lot of us, we got kids. So think about this. And this is also going to relate with us as well. Remember, this is the season of learning and foundation. All right. So here is where everything starts, right? And here are the key things that you want to be doing while you're in this specific season. When you're in this season, it's all about you want to be learning. You want to be curious, which means you want to be asking a lot of questions and you want to be exploring. All right. This is the season where learning has to be at an all-time high. This is the season where asking questions have to be at all-time highs. And this is where you want to be exploring what's kind of going to be the career, the purpose, the passion that you're going to pursue full time. This is also a great time to build foundational habits, values, and character, right? So this is where you start building those foundational habits. A lot of people always ask me, Nano, how are you able to wake up early? How are you able to, work so hard? And it was because of the foundational habits that my parents installed in me from a very early age. My dad my dad worked 7 days a week, right? He's up every day, 5 a.m. in the morning, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I grew up watching those things. I understood the importance of hard work. I understood the importance of being a family man, right? But also my values were established and my character was established in those areas as well. So from 0 to 21, right? This is a very big season for you. All right. Including for me, I think about my seasons of when I was 21. And I do give a lot of credit, number one, to my parents, and number two, to baseball. Those two things right there helped develop my 0 to 21 because that's what I was doing when I was, but from the ages of 7 till 23 years old, it was all baseball that I was doing. So that's what helped me shape my character. That's where a lot of my values come from because I played that sport. Baseball is a game of failure. It's a game of resilience. That's where my competitive nature comes from. That's where my leading abilities come from. That's where my hard work comes from. Everything, a lot of it comes from the foundation that I learned at home with my parents and what I learned on the field with baseball, right? So this season is a very important season for us because this is the season that shapes our character. This is the season that helps us build our habits. This is the season that helps us value specific things in our lives. So we gotta remember that, right? So from the seasons of 0 to 21, you gotta understand also as well that mistakes are part of growth. So for my people that have kids, this is the season where it's all about learning. You want to embrace learning. You want to embrace learning right now for them. Learning, curiosity, making sure that they're absorbing all the right information, protecting them from the things that are not going to benefit them. We guys all know, right? What do our parents say? Be careful who your friends are, right? They say, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Be careful who's influencing them. Be careful who's in their ears, right? One bad friend could mess up a lot for a kid. I could tell you that because I've had bad friends. All right. So I know what that's like. I know the friends that influenced me to smoke, that influenced me to drink, that influenced me to stay out later, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And even though it's done in a very innocent way, it can also backfire down the road if it becomes a habit. So it's very important that we understand the season that we're in now. For a lot of us, this season has passed for us, right? For the majority of the people on this call, this season has passed for us. All right. We went through school. We went to college, right? I was very fortunate. I graduated from college. I got my bachelor's. Did anybody else get their bachelor's? Did anybody else do 4 years? Put a 4 in the chat. Do we have anybody else who did their bachelor's and above? Maybe bachelor's, master's, et cetera, right? I got my bachelor's. I believe that if it wasn't for baseball, I wouldn't have been able to get my bachelor's because I played baseball. Baseball was a very, it kind of glued everything together, right? Because for me to play in college, I had to have good grades. I had to go to school. So baseball was one of those things that kind of got me through college, right? Am I better than anybody? Or are we better than anybody for getting it? I don't believe so. I think nowadays degrees really don't mean much unless you're actually doing it for something that you love. There you go, associates, and started working for professionally from there. And look, Susan, you're very successful. So I feel like in the season that we're in, a lot of the time, self-education is better than traditional education. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. Even though we may not be in a season of spring for a lot of us, all adults, everybody must always revisit the spring by staying curious, by reading, by learning new skills, and by being teachable. The people who grow the most are the ones who are always visiting spring. And that's the truth. The people that grow the most are the ones who are always visiting the spring. You see, remember, we got to stay a student forever. Just because you're no longer in that spring season where you're learning, you're growing, you're building foundational habits, values, and character, etc., doesn't mean that you don't go back and visit it. As a matter of fact, I'm still in my spring season. I'm still reading books. I'm still learning new skills. Right? I'm still changing my character. I'm still fixing things in my life. I'm still going through mistakes. So even though we're not in the spring season in terms of the years, because the years is from 0 to 21, right? It doesn't mean that we don't go back into that spring season, right? We're always in that spring season. The spring season is the perfect reflection of your personal development, your morning routine, your personal development routine. Are you always learning? Are you always reading? Are you always going to events? Are you always curious, asking yourself questions, right? Yesterday, I'll give you guys an example. Yesterday, I took one of my brothers. This was a very cool experience for me, by the way. I don't know if you guys saw it on my Instagram, but yesterday I took one of my brothers to get his suit tailored. He wants to start getting custom suits. My brother, Michael DePreda, I'm sure he wouldn't mind that I have this conversation with you guys. But Michael, one of the things I've been working on with Michael in particular is working on his self-image, right? As a mentor, you got to identify where some people lack, and you got to help them identify those areas and work on them, right? So the idea is Michael's one of our top students within Alpha Society, right? Michael was an individual who grew up in the Bronx, New York. He worked every job you could think about, from delivering boxes to busting tables. You know, he comes from very humble beginnings, right? Italian family, if I'm not mistaken, right? And Michael was very fortunate to make good money at his jobs and invest into crypto very early on back in 2022. So because Michael was disciplined and he had a vision, you know, he had some amazing opportunities to invest very early. And when things blew up in 2024, 2025, this year, he was able to scale his portfolio to multiple six figures. So he went from living at his parents' house in the Bronx to moving to $1 million house here in Miami. So, but the thing with Michael is that he still has that self-image from the Bronx, right? He still has he still has the Michael the Predator from the Bronx. He still acts like it. He still talks like it. He still dresses like it, right? Like he's still that guy, even though he's elevated his bank account, he's elevated his money, he's elevated. He still has a lot of that Bronx in him. He still has a lot of those limiting beliefs from those years. From, you know, he lived 25 years in the Bronx, right? I was talking with him yesterday. So one of the things that I've been telling him is, yo, we need to up your self-image, right? You need to let go of Michael from the Bronx, and you need to become the millionaire version of Mike now, right? And a lot of that starts with the way you look, the way you dress, the way you speak, the way you do everything has to shift. You have to change. So one of the things, he's elevated the way he talks, right? He's elevated his faith in God, right? He's elevated his routines. But one thing that I also realize is that I want him to elevate his self-image, the way he sees himself. So he loves suits. So I'm like, yo, look, I got the plug. I know somebody that could get you a custom suit. Now, the same guy that gets me my custom suits, he's my mentor. He was personally mentored by Bob Proctor. All right. He was literally Bob Proctor's creative director for many years. So I take him to get his suit. Long story short, he picks out a suit, boom, 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 boom. And next thing you know, we're on the balcony and we're looking over the view, we're taking pictures, etc. And he starts to mentor Mike in front of me. And I'm like, oh my God, he's about to mentor him for real. So he starts asking Mike, he says, Mike, what is your goal? And I'm like, oh my God, he's doing it to him. He's doing it to him. Like, I'm like, yo, this is about to get real. Like when he, like, such a calm voice, he was like, Michael, so tell me, what is your goal? Straight up like that. And, you know, Mike, it gets, you know, you get caught by surprise, but Michael was a little bit prepared. So Michael starts telling him, like, you know, I want to, Stu about to drop. Yeah, exactly. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching this whole thing. I wish I would have recorded it, but I was so present in the moment that I couldn't. But I want to share this with you guys because it was so powerful. And Michael starts talking about how he wants to be an educator for crypto. You know, he wants to make multiple seven figures. He wants to help other people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And he's just looking at him. He's analyzing. He says, "It's great. It's great. You want to do that for other people." He says, "But what does Michael want? What do you want, Michael? Like, what do you really, really, really want?" And I know where this is going. So, you know, Michael starts telling him, I want to be able to have a house. I want to be able to, he wants to make seven figures in crypto. He wants to be able to do this, do this, do this, do this. So Michael starts telling him. So, and I know where this is going because a lot of what Michael was saying, he was giving him goals that weren't quantifiable. I want to be an educator. I want to make money in crypto. I want to retire family. I want to do this. So he was giving him goals, but they weren't quantifiable, which means they weren't measurable, right? So then my mentor Gribby, he asks him, he says, how much money would you have to make a month for you to live that life that you just described to me? And Michael says, anywhere between 25 to 50 a month. He says, no, I need you to be specific because 25 to 50 a month, that's double. So I need to know exactly what you want. What would allow you to live that life that you just explained to me? You just told me you want a mansion, you want this, you want that, you want to do this for your family, et cetera, et cetera. Michael ends up saying, I want to make $50,000 a month, right? So he explains to him that he needs to get clear on exactly what he wants, and he needs to start acting like that person now, right? Like you want 50,000 a month, right? That's what you want. You need to start to create the self-image of Michael, $50,000 a month. How does Michael look like? What does he dress like? How does he talk? How does he approach it? What's his morning routine like? What does Michael, $50,000 a month do? And he said this to him, and this was the most powerful thing. He said, what I'm about to tell you right now, right? He said, what I'm about to tell you right now has changed my life, and I'm going to share it with you guys here today. Never forget what I'm about to tell you. He said, it's better to build a mansion and invite others in than to give all your bricks away. Listen to that again. It's better to build a mansion and invite others in than to give all your bricks away. When he said that, I paused. Because, when anybody ever tells you, yo, what I'm about to tell you is going to stick with you forever, I really paused and I took it all in. It's better to build a mansion and invite others in than to give all your bricks away. What was he trying to say there? Right? Think about it. Because what Mike was doing was he was talking about everything he wanted to do for everybody else, which is a very great trait to have. And I feel like a lot of us, we have that trait. We're very selfless, right? We're very selfless. We want to do for our parents. We want to do for our kids. We want to do for our friends. We want to do everything for everybody else. That sometimes we forget ourselves. What did I say to start this call? We got to be selfish before we are selfless. And the thing is, some of us, we're too selfless, including Nano. Listen, guys, I could take blame for that too. I'm just as selfless as anyone you could ever imagine. I put other people's needs before mine. And remember, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to be selfless. It's just you can't pour into others if you have nothing to pour from. You can't help others if you haven't helped yourself. You can't lead others if you haven't led yourself. You can't help others if you haven't helped yourself. So that's where the saying comes from. It's better to build a mansion and invite others in. It's better for you to build yourself up, build you up, and invite others to learn from you, invite others to pour into, than for you to spend your whole life giving all your bricks away and not have enough to build your own house. Think about that. I watched him say that to him yesterday, and I was immediately shifted. Which means what? We have to always continue to build ourselves up. That's why I'm always reading. That's why I'm always studying. That's why I'm always going to events. That's why I'm always reading the Bible. That's why I'm always doing these things. Why? Because I got to continue to build myself up. I am building my mansion and inviting you guys in, instead of giving you guys away all the bricks. Because think about it. If I give away all my bricks to you guys, now we're all homeless. But I build my mansion. I invite you guys in. Now I can invite you guys in to teach you guys how to create mansions. That's the name of the game. You want to build yourself up first. So this is why working on you is so key. This is why the spring season is so important, right? This is why it's so important. I was watching one more thing. I was watching a documentary yesterday. One thing about me, I don't know if you guys know this, but I have like this desire to go live a digital nomad life. Like I have like this burning desire that I'm thinking about doing it here probably next year or so. But I just want to go live like on the road. Like I just want to go live 3 months in Bali, 3 months in South America, 3 months in Dominican Republic. Like I have this thing. I want to go be a digital nomad. Like I know I could. I make enough money on, like I could go do that right now. Like instead of paying rent here, like I'd rather just pay for an Airbnb $2,000 a month and stay at a beautiful location. Go to Bali, go to Thailand. When you make money online, remember the world becomes your office. It becomes so I can do that. I don't have kids, right? Like might as well do it now, right? That I still can before I have kids and before I start a family. Might as well do it now. So I have like this desire. So I'm watching this video of this guy that interviews digital nomads in Bali yesterday. And one of the guys said, when you start business, when you start entrepreneurship, it's not about making money. It's all about personal development. And it hit me and I was like, yo, he's right. Look, it's 11-11. That's how true it is. When you start business, he says the first 5 years are all personal development. He said it's not even about making a profit in the first 5 years of starting your business or personal or anything like that. He said it's all personal development. It's so important that you guys understand that. It's so important that we all understand that. We got to make sure that we are always pouring into ourselves. So that's the spring season, right? The spring season is a very, very beautiful season. All right. Now, let's go into the next season. This is the season that a lot of us are in, right? This next season is summer. This is from the ages of 22 to 42. This is the season of discovery and building, right? Season of discovery and building. Now, if you're in the summer season, put a 2 in the chat because I know this is the one you guys have been waiting for. This is the one that hit me because this is where I'm at. If you're in the season of summer, which means you are in the ages between 22 and 42, put a 2 in the chat box for me. This is the season of discovery and building, right? Now, here's what happens in this season. In this season, you're being tested. You're discovering your purpose. You're building your life and you're creating. Those are the 4 things that are happening in this season. You're being tested. There's a lot of testing happening. There's a lot of discovering happening. There's a lot of building happening, and there's a lot of creating happening, right? The way Tony Robbins described it is that this is also a season of being humbled, right? And you realizing that things are not always the way that you want them to be, right? So, for example, when I graduated from college, right, back in when I was 22, 23 years old, when I actually started my summer season, I said, yo, I'm going to be married and I'm going to be a multimillionaire by the age of 30. Right. And it sounded good. Right. You know, we're very optimistic about the future. Yo, I'm going to be married and I'm going to have kids and I'm going to have $1 million and I'm going to be doing this and doing that by the age of 30. That's what I believed. Right. That was my dream. That was my goal. And then he says and then you actually realize that it takes time, right? Because it is true. Look, today I'm 31. I'm not married. I don't have kids, and I'm close to being a millionaire, but I'm not a millionaire yet. Right? So I had this dream, but then you realize that it's more than what you think it was, right? And you got to keep this in mind, right? So the summer is where most people build their careers. Here's where you build relationships, and here's where you start having life direction. This is the season of experimentation. This is the season where you're going to fail, you're going to learn, you're going to try new things, and you're going to figure out what truly matters in your life, right? What happens in the season is you're going to be tested a lot on what you learn. You're going to have to try different paths. You're going to have to discover your passion. You're going to have to focus on building relationships, building businesses, building family, building reputation. You're going to have to work hard. This is your grind season right here. From 22 to 42, this is the season that we're in. We're in the season of being tested. We're in the season of building. We're in the season of looking what to find. This is a very, very important season for all of us. All right. This is a very important season because majority of us on this call, we're in this season. And Tony Robbins specifically said that this will be the hardest seasons of our lives because here's the season that we're finding ourselves. Remember, from the age of 0 to 21, for a lot of us, we were with our parents. But now in this season, we are on our own. We're paying our own bills, right? A lot of us, we're having kids. We're in relationships. We're starting businesses. where some of us are working jobs that we don't even want to work. So we're looking to leave the jobs that we're in to find something that we're actually passionate about, right? So right now, a lot of us, we are in seasons where we're trying to figure out where we are in life. Like, what's next for us? What are we going to dedicate the next 20, 30, 40 years to? What relationships are we building? What's going to be the life direction that I take? What's going to be the career that I pursue full time? And this is the season where you're going to be tested the most, because guess what? In order for you to grow to the person that you want to be, you got to let go of everybody that you once were, right? You're going to have to let go of friends. You're going to have to let go of certain people. You're going to have to let go of the old version of you, because like the saying says, the old you must die for the new you to be born. Right? So this season, I'm telling you guys right now, from 22 to 42, we're going to go through the most that we've ever gone to in this season. This is the hardest season for all of us. It's the hardest season for all of us. For everybody that put a 2 in the chat box and you are in the years of 22 to 42, this is our hard season. This is our difficult season. After this, life is easy. But this is the season where, because remember, guys, here's where we're finding ourselves. For a majority of our lives, right, we were being led by our parents, by our teachers, by whoever was taking care, whoever our guardians were. For the most part, we're being led up to the age of 21 years old on average, right? Majority of us. So once we reach the ages of 22 and above, you're finding yourself now. You're figuring out, okay, what's going to be my career? It's not easy to find a career. Think about that. It's not easy to have a career. Queen B's like, dang, I still have 10 more years to go. Trust me, I felt the same way. I'm like, sheesh, I still got another 10 years of this myself, right? I was thinking the same thing. I was literally thinking, like, I'm like, it was humbling, because it was like, okay, you're only halfway into this, right? I'm 31. I'm in this season. And it's not that it's always going to be hard, right? So it's not that it's always going to be hard. It's going to be hard because in the beginning, you got to find yourself, right? You got to find a career. You got to find what you got to do. You got to build the relationships. That's the hard part about it, right? If you haven't found what your purpose and your passion is, it's hard to find that, right? If you haven't found your significant other, it's hard, right? If you haven't decided what your career is going to be, right? All these things, if you haven't let go of those traumas and those experiences, and you haven't worked on your self-image, that's the hard part right here, right? Because right now and remember, we're also building businesses. Building a business is not easy, right? It takes years to build a successful business. Building the new version of you, that new self-image, like what I'm doing with Mike, right? It's going to take me time to help build Mike up, right? It's not just going to happen in 1 year, right? It takes years of building that person up for him to let go of that old version of him. The same way it's taken me years, right? I lived with my parents up until I was 26. I'm 31. So for 26 years of my life, for 26 out of 31 years, I was living with my parents. If you do the numbers, that's 80% of my life that I was living with somebody else that as my guardian, I've only been on my own for the last 4 to 5 years, right? So I'm still in that discovering phase, learning how to take care of my own and understanding life. Luckily for me, I've been very blessed and very fortunate, and I give all the glory and praise to the Lord that He has allowed me to find my purpose. I found my passion. I love my career. I've built great relationships. I have great mentors in life. I found the things that I love. So I'm so grateful for God for that, right? Because that's usually one of the hardest things for people to find is, what's your passion? What's your purpose in life, right? What are the things that you're going to dedicate your next 20 years to? Like, I feel good knowing that I know what I'm going to dedicate in terms of my career. I know what I'm going to dedicate the next 20, 40, 50 years to. I feel so good about that. I wake up happy every day because I love what I do. There's no better feeling, guys. I'm telling you right now. I cannot wait where every single one of you guys wake up every day and you absolutely love what you do. It's the best feeling in the world, right? I'm building my career. I feel good about that. I have solid relationships in my life. I have really, really good relationships. I have great people in my life. And some of those relationships are you guys on this call. The direction is incredible, right? And guess what? Because I've dedicated so much time, because this is also a season of testing, I've developed so much as well. I've been tested a lot during this. But I love this. I love the test. But also remember, this is grind season. This is the season to work. This is the season to work. This is not the season to be chilling, relaxing. Remember, you're building in this season from 22 to 42. We are building in this season. This is the season to say yes. This is the season to look for opportunities, to take risk, to take challenges head on. Think about this. Every experience is a stepping stone to clarity. You gotta use this season to take risk. You gotta use this season to take advantage of opportunities to build yourself up. Don't be scared to invest into yourself. Don't be scared to fail. Don't be scared to fall. Don't be scared to cut people off. This is your season right now, fam. If you are in the ages of 22 to 42, this is going to be one of our hard seasons, yes, but it's going to be also the season that develops us and helps us grow, right? There's going to be a lot of highs in this season as well. You're going to make great money. You're going to meet amazing people. You're going to have great things as well, but it's also going to be hard because this is that middle part of our lives, right? We got done with the foundation, which is 0 to 21, but 22 to 42, that's like that. I want to call it like that middle point for us, almost in a way, right? Because here's where what we do in this season is what determines the remaining of our lives, right? Like this is a very, very, very important season. So in this season, we're testing, we're discovering, we're building, and we're creating. That's what I'm doing right now. How did you know being an entrepreneur was your calling? It's a good question. You know, funny enough, my friend, the person that put me onto it, always told me that it was my calling. I didn't know it was my calling, but he said, bro, you weren't meant to work a job for the rest of your life. He says, you've always been a leader. You've always been a risk taker. You've always been the captain of every baseball team you played for. You've always been a leader. He said, you're not meant to be basically tied under somebody else. He always said, even look at your dad. He said, even though your dad is self-employed and he's a taxi driver, your dad's been an entrepreneur majority of his life. He said, being an entrepreneur is already in your blood. So I had somebody kind of install that in me from a very early age, right? I've always been a risk taker. Right? I'm not scared to take risk. I'm not. I am not scared to take risk. I love taking risk. I also love working hard. I've always been the hardest working guy on my team. So I love working hard. Entrepreneurship, I believe, is for everybody, but is also not for everybody, right? You got to have a mental fortitude to really, just be willing to go through those years of, because here's the reality about entrepreneurship. A lot of entrepreneurship is being overworked and underpaid. If you think working 9 to 5 is hard, an entrepreneur works 9 to 9, 12 to 12. Like entrepreneurs work 12, 14, 15, 16-hour days. I don't work 8 hours a day. I work all day. Like I literally work all day. Like there's times I get off this call right now and I'm working till 11 p.m. at night. Like I finish this call now and there's times I'm working till midnight from 12 to 12. Like this happens to me all the time. Like I'm on the road, I'm working because in this season, I'm in my grind season, I'm in my building season. So you kind of have to find out what's best for you. And I'm not talking down on jobs. I believe that there's great opportunities in jobs, right? There's great opportunities if you find something that you love to do. I think it all just comes down to you finding what you love to do. What is it that you love to do? Dedicate your life to it. All right. My business requires me to be an entrepreneur and requires me to be open to different business ideas. I want to be a multiple business owner, and I am. I love everything that I do, from being a founder of a community to speaking all over the world to doing podcasts to my retreats, everything. Like I love the freedom, right? Because it's not just about the money freedom, it's time freedom, right? It's the time that I have, right? I always told people I'd rather make 2K a month and be free than make 10K a month and be tied down. As crazy as that may sound. Listen to that again. I'd rather make 2K a month and have my time freedom to do what I want when I want than make 10K a month and be tied down to something that I have to be at every single day. Because this is important. Time freedom is more important than money. Remember, time is more valuable than money. I'm pretty sure. I know people that make six figures. I know people that make six figures, and they tell me all the time, Nano, I wish I had the life that you have. All my friends that make six figures, all the time, they tell me, yeah, bro, I make six figures. We make the same amount of money, but you have time. I don't. I have to work all day while my kids are at home. I missed all the most important days of my kids' life because I have to be at work. I don't get a chance to travel because I only get a certain amount of weeks, a month to travel. A year to travel. They said, so we make the same amount of money, bro. Yeah, I'm making 150, 200, 300 a year, but I'm slaving for that. You get to do it from your house and from your laptop. That's the beauty of it. That's what they my one of my best friends that he works in medical sales, he told me that. He said, bro, I love what you do. I'm like, bro, but you make money too. He's like, yeah, but I don't have time, bro. That's what he literally told me. He said, bro, yeah, I'm happy. I make money. Yeah, but I don't have time. I'm slaving away every single day to make the money. I don't have time. I gotta be at work. It's not like I could just get up and leave and go travel the world like you travel, bro. I don't have that privilege. So you gotta find, right? It's a sacrifice, right? You gotta pick what you want to do, but you gotta make a decision on it during this season. What do you want? What do you want? And remember, this is the season of discovering. Go find out, try different things, guys. Go figure out if maybe e-commerce could be for you, trading can be for you, crypto investing, branding, social media. There's so many opportunities nowadays. AI. One of my friends reached out to me the other day. She's like, yo, Nano, why don't you start learning about AI so that you can be an AI speaker? I'm like, that's a phenomenal idea. I'm gonna give it a shot. Why not? Right? Like I am so open to ideas. Yo, that's a good idea. It's in my same realm. One thing I don't do, I don't like to step too far out of what I do, right? I like to keep it all in the same realm, right? Because I have a responsibility to my team, my leaders, and my community, right? So if I'm ever gonna take a business idea, I'm always gonna keep it within the same realm. It has to be within the same realm of what I do, which is investing, branding, content, speaking, personal development. I'll take opportunities in this realm, but if I have to go and do something else that is completely out of my realm, I wouldn't do it because I don't want anything to take me away from what I already have here in this ecosystem. Everything I need is in this ecosystem already. So I stay within my ecosystem. So that way nothing takes me away from what I love doing, which is this, right? So, but think about it, guys. I've had to try a lot of different things. All right. And guess what? Because of that, I have learned so many skills. I've learned how to trade. I've learned how to invest in crypto. I've learned how to create stores so I can sell my own product. Look, this is my own product. It's my own sweater right here. Nano, everything, nice, beautiful sweater, right? I learned about this. I learned about social media monetization, right? I just became a super affiliate for one of the top companies here in Miami called Aroma 360 with the Luxury Sense, right? I'm doing all these things. I'm learning about travel hacking. I'm learning about all these different things. I understand credit. I understand taxes. I understand life insurance. Like there's so many things that I've learned, but it's because I'm in that season of learning. I'm in that season of discovering, figuring things out. So just keep that in mind because the ages of 22 to 42 is a season of discovery and building, and be okay with that. And that's why this specific training was able to give me so much peace. Because the thing with me is, and I'm sure some of you guys may have the same feeling, do you sometimes feel like you should be further in life, or like you're not doing enough, or like maybe you're behind? Does anybody ever feel like that? Put a 3 if you ever felt like that, right? Like, yo, I'm behind on life. Everybody's ahead of me. I should be doing more. I should be making more. Or, you just feel like you're behind. It just almost feels like you're not doing enough. I haven't found my purpose yet. Everybody's going ahead of me. Everybody has kids already. Everybody's married already. Like, you almost start to feel like you're not where you're supposed to be. What this training did for me, because I felt those same emotions. What this training did for me was it helped me get in peace with where I was at in life. It helped me remember that I am exactly where I am supposed to be. And I say that to all of you that feel the exact same way on this call. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Get rid of all that pressure that you have. Because when I heard this training, all the pressure was removed. I literally left that event like 100 pounds lighter. And I'm not talking about physical weight. I'm talking about spiritual weight. Like, so much weight was taken because I was putting too much pressure on myself. Way too much pressure. But then I understood that I'm in my season of discovery and building. And then guess what? When you do this season well, then you hit the third season, which is the fall season. The fall season is from ages 43. But do we need the pressure though? We need the pressure to get us to move forward, right? We need the pressure because pressure makes diamonds. So you need the pressure because the pressure is good. The only time the pressure is bad is when you let it weigh you down and not allow you to work. The pressure is good because it's going to get you to work. It's going to get you to create. It's going to get you to discover. It's going to get you to build the businesses, and it's going to get you there. You need pressure. The only time pressure is bad is if you let it get the best of you. All right. So then what that does is, remember, we spend all these years building for all of us. Now we hit the season of fall, which is the ages of 43 to 63. This is the season of harvest and impact. Put a 3 in the chat box if you are in this season. If you are in this season, put a 3 in the chat box for anyone who's above the age of 43 to 63. I know we have a couple, not many, but I know we have a couple in here that are in this season right now. This is the season of harvest and impact, right? My sis Carmen is in there. I know Eunice is in there. All right. This is that season, right? So this is what happens in this season. Here's the season of power, harvest, and leadership when you're in this season. This brought a lot of peace to me too as well. This brought me a lot of peace because this is the season where we reap the rewards of the seeds we planted in the spring and the work we put in during the summer. This is also a season of reflection, refining, and redirection. This is where we step into greater levels of influence and greater levels of leadership. At this level right here, at this season, we're going to harvest our rewards. This is where now we have financial stability. We have influence. We reach the level of mastery within our careers because we're dedicated. Now, this is the season where we're going to be 10, 15, some of us 20 years into our career, right? You think about it. I started my career at 23 as an example, right? By the age of 43, I'll be 20 years into my career. Think about that. By the age of 63, I'll be 40 years into my career. So this is where you start reaching now, financial stability. Your influence is at an all-time high. Mastery is at an all-time high. Now I'm a master trader. I'm a master investor. I'm a master promoter. I'm a master at everything that I do. My finances are going to be all the way solid. Millions will be in the bank, right? My influence is going to be at an all-time high. I'll be a father by now, right? Like this is what it made me realize. I'm like, Nano, you're not behind. You're just exactly where you need to be. Right? So in this season, you want to harvest your rewards. You want to use your experience to lead and to mentor and to guide others. Because now at this age, you have success. By that age, every single one of us, majority of the people on this call, you got to think about this, guys. Think about when we're 43 to 63. This is going to be the age where a lot of us, I'm going to be able to pull up to your mansion in your house and you're going to be like, yo, Nano, here's the keys to the Rolls Royce. I got the guest room for you. Whenever I come to your city, here it is. And we're going to be talking about these days when we were in our 20s and our 30s, building up to those ages. and when we found our careers, and when we read the books and we listened to the audios and we found God and we started dedicating our life to God and the Bible. And, these are going to be what we talk about when we're 43 to 63 years old. This is the time, but we got to work towards that. This is where sometimes also as well, at this age, you're going to reevaluate priorities as well. You may have to reevaluate priorities. What are you prioritizing? Relationships, purpose, legacy. Because now at these ages is when we're building legacy. Right? This is where now you start focusing instead of me to we. How can your wisdom change others now? How can your wisdom serve others? So important. Because think about it. Most leaders are eventually, most of us, we're going to have to pivot into a season where now we're doing a lot of meaningful work after decades of being in a career. This is the fall. Because now we get to really fully fulfill our purpose. Goes back to what I was saying with what Matt told my brother Michael yesterday. It's better to build a mansion and invite others in than to give all your bricks away, right? At this season, we'll have our mansions built. Our mansions will be built at this time. And now we'll be able to teach others how to create their mansions. We'll be able to do God's work a lot better because we'll be a beautiful example of God giving people. Right? Think about us now teaching our 20-year-olds, our 25-year-olds, the importance of putting God at the center of life, the importance of learning different skills. Now, these were the books that we read here. I can't wait to just pass on. Look, these were the books that changed my life. Read this, read that, read this, go to these events. Do this, do this, do that. I do a lot of it, believe it or not. I do some of that stuff now, just at a smaller scale. Right? And that's what we got to understand, guys. Remember, for my people that are between their 22 to 42 years old, 42 years young, that's the next season in our life. The next season in our life is a season of harvest and leadership. So that's what made me grateful, because I'm like, yo, I'm still so young. Like, in reality, like, there's still so much we got to do. Like, think about it. By the time I get to 40, everything is going to be good. If God allows it, everything is going to be exactly how we ever imagined it. That house will be yours. The places you want to travel to, you'll be at them. The cars, the impact, the everything, the family, the wife, the husbands, everything will be yours. You're going to create that life then, so that now we get to harvest and impact then. From 43 to 63, those 20 years are going to be the best 20 years of our lives. Think about that. We think we're living in our best years now. No, we're going to be living our best years from 43 to 63. This is the season of grinding. We got to work now. We got to work now so that life could be easy later, right? That's why they say, hey, you got to do what's hard now so that life could be easy later. If we want life to be easy when we're 43 and older, we got to grind now. Hard, work hard, discover, find our purpose, build relationships, etc., etc., etc. This is the time right here. I can't wait, right? Because the thing is sometimes, and look, here's the thing is that we work in our 20s and our 30s and we expect rewards right away. And the rewards, I'm sure, I receive rewards. I've been very fortunate to receive great rewards. But the rewards that we're looking at, the rewards that we really truly desire, take a lot more time to build. It takes a lot more time to build the real rewards that we're looking for. Thank you, Melly. I appreciate those words. Thank you. For us to truly enjoy that, it's going to take us waiting till those years to get there. I'm telling you, We have to embrace, right? What did I say at the beginning of this training? This is what the objective of this training was: to help individuals understand the 4 major seasons in life, how to maximize each one, and how to prepare for the next so that they can live a life of purpose, impact, and fulfillment. Learning life. How would you start in marketing? It depends what do you want to market, right? It all depends. What do you want to market? What do you want to do in marketing, right? It's so many different ways that we could go about it. But if you want to hit me up on the side, I could definitely help you with that. All right. What's the product you're going to market? There's a lot of different ways we could go about that. So the season of 43 to 63, the season of harvest and impact. And then the last one, so we could wrap it up, is what they call the winter season. This is from ages 64. He put 84. I put 104. I want to live to over 100. That's my goal, and I pray to God that that's the will that He has on my life. Obviously, I accept whenever my time comes, because at the end of the day, I'm here to just do God's work, and when my time comes, I accept it. But I put 104. I changed the 84 to 104. He had it by 20 years, but he also said you could change it to 94, 104. It's up to you, but he had it like every 20 years. That's usually the life expectancy of people. So the next season, winter, is from 64 to 84. This is the season of wisdom and legacy. The season of wisdom and legacy is the winter. Here is all about leadership, mentorship, reflection, and legacy. Here's now where you're slowing down, you're mentoring, and you're preparing for the next generation. Here's where you're storytelling, you're talking to the kids, the grandkids, and you're just preparing now. You're putting trust funds together. You're doing everything for the kid. You're building real estate portfolios. You're making sure that the next generation to come is taken care of. Right? That's what we're doing in these times. That's why I have my journals. One of the reasons why I have my journals is because I'm building my journals so that when I get to this age, I'm passing my journals down to my kids. Yo, look at what I was dealing with in my 20s, in my 30s, in my 40s. Here's a journal entry for all those years. Look at what happened once God came into my life. Look at the difference. Look at this. Look at that. Hey, look. On this year, I went through my first heartbreak. Look at everything I went through. This is the time that I had a tough business. This is what happened on this day. This is what happened on this day. I'm gonna have it all recorded and ready. Why? Because mentorship, leadership, reflection. And guess what? My kids, my grandkids in the future, they're gonna go through some of the same things that I went through. But I'm gonna be building. I'm gonna be leading. I'm gonna be mentoring. I'm still gonna be speaking on stages all around the world. I'm going to be like Bob Proctor in his 80s, still running master classes, because that's what I love to do. But you know what I'm also going to be doing? I'm going to be traveling all around the world in my yacht as well, taking my family on 1-month vacations all over the south of France and Italy, visiting different countries, different cities, different hotels, the top of the top hotels in the world, staying at the Four Seasons, the Amans, all of that. Of course, traveling all around the world, drinking the finest wines, eating 3 Michelin star, restaurants, and giving back to the church and giving a ton of money, teaching a lot of people, I can't wait to get to that. Focus on just literally on fulfillment, joy, what truly matters. The Pagani, make sure I buy that, have a car collection. Remember, I have a whole list of 100 things I want to do before 40, but imagine what I want to do before I'm out of here. This is a great season. But here's what it says. It says, don't wait until winter to start thinking about your legacy. Start living with legacy in mind today, so that when the winter comes, you've already started to build that legacy. I think of legacy today. That's why I'm thinking my journals today. That's why I'm investing in crypto today. People who are not investing in crypto are making a big mistake. Imagine how much crypto is going to be worth in 10 years. You should be investing in crypto, building up that portfolio, building it up. It's not too late. People think that is late. You think because Bitcoin is at 100,000, that is late. Bitcoin's going to be one day a $1 million coin. It's going to be worth 1 million. Get in while you still can. You feel me? Like, you got to start thinking of these things from now, right? You got to start thinking of these things from now. All of these things, I'm thinking about all of that now. So I could start to develop these things, build that wealth, that true thing. So when you're in your 60s and above, this is where we become leaders, we become mentors, we reflect on life, right? This is where now we're authors, we're teachers. We're no longer chasing success, we're no longer chasing money. We're just building a legacy for the next generation to come. Where now, you know, you walk into your house and there's a huge portrait of you in there because you were the grandfather, you were the grandmother that broke the generational curses. And you helped build a generation that's going to last for generations to come. That's the goal. It literally says it in the Bible too as well. Can't remember the exact Bible verse, but I know there's a Bible verse in the Bible that talks about, you know, you leaving your generations better set up for success. That's the winter season. I still have a long way to go to get to my winter season. Long way. I still got over 30 years to get there. But that makes me feel good because, damn, 30 years is a long time. It's a lot of time. It's a long time. But guess what? I love it. I'm here for it. But you know what the thing is too? People say that time flies. I mean, I'm 31 and it feels like it was just yesterday. I was 5 years old going to kindergarten. And look, you just never know. It feels like just the other day I graduated from college. That was 2016. It's next year's 2026. It's about to be 10 years since I graduated. I still can't believe that. I still literally can't believe that I graduated from college literally 10 years ago. It's still hard for me to even comprehend that. But this is what it's all about, guys. And we got to get to that, right? We got to get to that. So those are the 4 seasons right there. Season 1 is a season of spring, which is from the ages of 0 to 21 years young. Season 2 is, second season is the summer season, 22 to 42, which is the season of discovery and building. Number 3 is the fall, which is from ages 43 to 63, the season of harvest and impact. And number 4 is the winter season, which is 64 to 84 or 64 to 104, whatever you want to do. I put 104. The season of wisdom and legacy. Embrace them. Right? Embrace them. This is so important. And remember, guys, take the time to grow. That's the most important part here. Focus on you. Grow, 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 grow. The more you grow, the more life will start to elevate for you. I promise you that. Right? My mentor said something yesterday that really put things in mind for me because, you know, I was telling him about making $100K a month. And he's like, yo, that's beautiful, bro. But he's like, you know that for some people, $100K a month is a bad month? He said, for you, it would be the best month ever. He said, I know people that if they have $100K a month, their alarms are going off in their minds. Like they just had the worst month ever if they make $100K in a month. He said, it's all perspective. He said, it's all perspective, bro. He said, that's why you got to keep growing. You got to keep elevating. He said, because the same way $100K a month would be life-changing for you, $100K a month is a bad month for somebody. Think about that. And he made me really think about that. I was like, sheesh. He said, you can't even conceptualize all of that. You can't even imagine $100K a month being a bad month for you, Nano. He said, some people are at those levels already. You haven't reached those levels yet, but I need you to understand that it's all perspective. It's all perspective. Some people can't even grasp that, right? Some people think, yo, $100K a month is a bad month. And it's like, yo, it takes me a year, 2 years to make that money. Somebody's making that in a month and it's a bad month for them. But it's because, exactly, John, one person's ceiling is another person's floor. We got to grow. We got to elevate. We got to take care of ourselves. We got to grow. We got to elevate. We got to do whatever is required. So I wanted to do this training for you guys and just as much for me because I wanted to hear it again. This training was so valuable for me. Like the amount of peace and the amount of spiritual weight that this training was able to to give me and take away from me was absolutely amazing, because it just helped me embrace where I was at. I was just like, okay, I'm 31. My next season is not till I'm 42, 43 actually. So I'm good. I still have another 11 years, 12 years of this season where I got to keep growing. I got to keep building. I got to keep discovering. I was like, sheesh, bro, that feels good. Because I felt like I was behind. I felt like I didn't have time. I felt like, nah, bro, we have time. We just got to take advantage of where we are. I can't spend the next 11, 12 years sitting on a couch doing nothing. I just got to keep working. I got to keep grinding. And when God decides to open those doors, then he will. Until then, I just got to keep pushing the boulder. I got to keep pushing it. I got to keep pushing it until God will decide when he opens that door, when he moves that boulder. Until then, I'm grinding. This is my grind season. I'm not here to get tired. I'm not here to chill. I'm not here to relax. This is what it's, yeah, exactly. Society does that. But we have time. Guys, I want you to, even if you're in your 40s, you have time. You have time if you're in your 40s. Even my sister Eunice, I know you're in your 50s, sis. You have time. You have time. Some people didn't make their biggest money into their 50s and their 60s, sis. That's the reality. You got time. All of us, we got time. Everything could change in 1 year. You know, you could be broke this year and be a millionaire next year. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen for me. I went from being broke 1 year to being a multiple six-figure earner the next year. Everything can change fast, but you have to embrace where you are. So if you know where you are, take advantage of it. All right, guys. So with that being said, I hope you guys got a lot of value from today's training. I'm sorry that I did go a little longer than usual, but I needed the full time to be able to explain everything without missing anything. I pray that you guys got value from it, and take what you can from this call. I hope that this call brought you guys the same piece and took off as much weight as it took off of me, because trust me, it did it for me. And I pray that it did the same. If it did it for you too, put a 2 if it gave you a little bit more of a sense of peace, or just clarity and just understanding of where you are in life. Because that's what it did for me. Like I paid to, I mean, I didn't pay to go to that event. I qualified to be there. But if I had paid to go to that event and everything like that one training would have been worth the peace and the spiritual weight that was taken off of me. Because it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible for me to, just experience that. So just remember, you're not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. God has you exactly where you need to be. All the challenges you're going through, you are exactly where you need to be. It's just now learning, keep working, keep discovering. If you haven't found your purpose yet, you will find it. If you haven't found your passion, your career yet, you're going to find it. If you haven't found your person yet that you want to marry and you want to spend the rest of your life with, you're going to find it. But remember, build your mansion first and invite others in. Build yourself up. Build you up. The rest will take care of itself. Build you up. And when it's time to be selfless, you'll be selfless. Build you up. Build your relationship with God. Those are the 2 most important things right there. Everything else will come later. Building you and your relationship with God are the 2 most important things that we should be doing in this season. The rest, we'll figure it out. All right, fam. So I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of the day. That wraps it up for me today. Thank you guys so much for hopping on. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. If you haven't liked this video, just give it a quick like. If you want to leave a comment below, leave a comment on what the biggest takeaway for you was. I got a lot of work to do now, starting at 12, so I finished right on time. I'm gonna do a little prayer for all of us, and then we'll wrap it up right there. So a quick prayer, and we'll wrap it up. Everybody bow your heads and let's pray. Father, Lord, we just want to say thank you so much for this amazing day and this amazing training that we had today. I'm grateful that you was able to provide us with clarity and helping us understand the seasons that we're in. And most importantly, just understanding the importance of working on ourselves, working on our relationship with you, because we know that in order for us to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish in life. And for us to build the kingdom, there needs to be a lot of work that we do on ourselves, Father. So we just want to thank you for the clarity. We want to thank you for your guidance, for your wisdom, for your protection, for this community that you've cultivated. We want to thank you for our health. We want to thank you for our families. We want to thank you for holding our hands through this process. We want to thank you for your patience, for your ability to forgive us, and just thank you for just everything that you're doing for us each and every single day, Lord. You are the best that we've ever had. And honestly, it feels amazing to have a leader like you that is guiding us through this process of life that we get a chance to experience every single day, Father. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I speak on behalf of the whole entire community. Our hearts are full of gratitude. We're going to go out there. We're going to work on ourselves. We're going to be the examples that we want to see in the rest of the world. We're going to lay a brick today in the kingdom, and we're going to do what's required, Father. So thank you for it all. We love you. We appreciate you. We do everything for your praise and for your glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen, amen, amen. Amen. God bless, fam. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Let me get to work so that we can continue to grow and continue to elevate. God bless you guys. Have a good day. Thank you, fam.